The legal world of commerce will use terms like if someone rips you off or you haven't been paid, they'll say I've been stiffed. Uh, Interestingly, the legal world operates in the concept of the dead, the corpus, and we know that a stiff is many times used to describe a dead body. That's a stiff. So we enter into commerce using a pen, and you have intercourse with the state. And I always tell people that when you're chasing the money, a stiff pen has no conscience because it'll have intercourse all the time because it's always stiff with the state. So we have to be in understanding that the end game with the rich and those in power that operate and control the satanic world that is around us, that is focused on gain and commerce and war and all the violence that's out there over that, and the power that is being struggled to be used against good is already spoken of in the Bible in a damnation. I'm reading out of the again the American Standard. It's a Gideon Bible that's handed out many times, handed out in prisons, and the James chapter 5 was talking about the rich and what the situation would be with those that they manipulated with their titles and control. And so we're gonna read out of there. Now the King James clearly says that the wealthy or the rich that will eventually pay for their actions on what they did to the poor and the ignorant and those that they manipulated falsely, they will actually pay for their fraud, and uses the word fraud. Fraud's not used many times in the Bible, but it's used there. So it's talking about the deceit of the system and the commerce that you're surrounded with right now. So James 5 starts off, "Come now, you rich, weep and howl for your miseries which are coming upon you. Your riches have rotted and your garments have been moth-eaten. Your gold and your silver have rusted, and their rust will be a witness against you and will consume your flesh like fire. It is in the last days that you have stored up your treasure. Behold, the pay of the laborers who have mowed your fields and which have been withheld by you cries out against you, and the outcry of those who did the harvesting has reached the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth." Now, we're seeing here that is the situation for the hired hand that's out there laboring in there. The King James was clear. It says they were held back by fraud. They weren't paid. And you can't pay someone with debt. So they were never ever given something that truly would have been theirs. It's just allowed to be in their hands, but it's never really theirs. And so people have been chasing this carrot of wealth. But the satanic world that operates this doesn't reward its followers, and it basically leads to a horrible end. So if you feel that you've been stiffed, there's a good reason for it, because you're working in the world of the dead, and that's where the stiffs are. So of course you'd be stiffed, and you need something stiff in order to sign and sin. So therefore, have we been warned? Were we told? When they mention the fields that were harvested down, they're not talking about literally all the fields of like farming. It's everything, all the trades, all the occupations that are controlled by licenses and special permission in order to operate in there. So you're surrounded by that realm of legal, the stiffs that walk around there in zombie behavior as they're like robots with no conscience, basically with greed and gain and basically dishonesty surrounding their whole thoughts. It's an unconscionable world, and therefore a stiff pen has no conscience.